Psychological pricing. We need to understand the barriers that are in our clients' minds. Now, once again, I'm just going to use food because it's a simple one to understand. What's the most you'd pay for a margarita pizza, ma'am? 70. I'm impressed. See, most people it comes out at about 49.50. No, I'm happy because I want. Can you? My pizza shop is just. You need to understand that customers have price barriers in their mind. For example, for most people, the price barrier for a margarita pizza is 49 Rand 50 or 50 Rand. Anything over and above that, they would consider expensive and maybe consider not going to that place. So what does a shop like Debonairs do? They take a piece of boerewors and they put it in the crust. Now all of a sudden, they can charge 70 Rand for the pizza. So they've broken the price barrier for you. So you need to understand what the price barrier is. If I've got a guy coming to my house as a plumber and I ask for a quote and he says to me, I charge 750 Rand per hour. By the way, that happened to me. A guy came to my house. I said, what do you charge? He said, 750 Rand an hour. I said, but my doctor only charges 600. He said, yes, when I was a doctor, I also only charged 600. Yes, you've got to understand the pricing. Please understand that you can't get above that psychological barrier for your customers. What is it? But if you are going to go above it, there is a ways. That's by value adding all the time. What service can you do? What extra can you give? Remember, when I sit with small businesses, one of the big frustrations is I say to them, why should people use you? And they say to you, because I'm cheap and I'm good. Cheap and good, just don't cut it anymore. There's got to be something else. You've got to tell me what's your differential and what extra do you give people all the time. Exercise number 11, organizing the future. At this stage in your life, you are only thinking big picture. That's all you can see. You have this vision in front of you. You have this empire in front of you. You want to grow your small business. Whatever it is, that's all you can see in front of you. We seem to have this inability to break this down into simple processes. And that's what's needed to grow our business every single day. Step number 11 is you need to start developing processes for absolutely everything that happens in your business. I want you to imagine how a customer interacts with you. Start off with a phone call. I wake up Saturday morning and I decide that tonight I want to take my wife out for dinner. So I get on the phone, and I phone the local restaurant, and the phone gets answered something like this. Can I help you? That is, can I help you? But it's in waiter speak. So I say, yes, I would really like to make a booking for this evening. And the guy says, oh. And then I can feel him, I can hear him, he's rushing around for a pen, and I can hear some scratching, and eventually he comes back and he says to me, yeah. I said, no, I want to make a booking for 2. What time do you open? I think about 6:30. So, all right, okay, let's make it for 7:30. Thank you. Here's my name. Here's my phone number. Just one more thing before I go. Do you take American Express? Do we take American Express? Yes, we do. Now, that's a process. Somebody needed to write down how the phone would be answered. Then on a piece of paper next to the phone, what time they open, what credit cards they take, do they take bookings, what are the specials of the day. That way, when the guy picks up the phone, he's just flowing through and I'm sitting there all confident. By the time I get there tonight, I'm expecting a disaster. When I go to your website and I can't get from one page to another page because there's a broken link, and then you want me to do business with you. Simple thing. Waiter brings you your bill at the end of the meal. The pen is chewed. It's still got saliva dripping from it. And he wants you to leave him a tip. That's a process. And I'm sorry to tell you this. You might be laughing. But you're probably committing some of these fundamental errors in your own business. You have a gym and you don't have clean towels. You have a guest house and your bedding's not done. Whatever it is, those are processes. You've got to go through every single one of them. As Francis Wright would say, who's been doing It's My Biz with us, every single thing requires a process. And as small business owners, we hate process. It's right up there with what's that word? Administration, thank you. I can barely say that word because I hate it so much. So that's process. You've got to set up these processes, a separate process for every single thing that happens in your business. Write it down. You will see your business change automatically. And one day when you employ staff, that's what you're going to pass on to your staff. You're going to pass on the ability for them to do it when you're not there. Another thing about small business owners, we hate delegating. Why? Because we don't believe our staff can do the job as well as we can. So I'll say to you, well, then train your staff. I haven't got time to train them because I'm so busy. Or why are you busy? Because I can't train my staff. And so the cycle goes on and on and on. And then I know what you're thinking. You think to yourself, what's the point of training my staff? After I've trained them, they're only going to leave, right? Well, what if you don't train them and God forbid they decide to stay? Then what are you going to do? Train your staff. It's part of the process. Set up the process. Monitor the process. It's quite simple. Get those sheets together. Write them out. Everything. I hate it as well, but I know that I have to do it. And then do your best to stay motivated. It is unbelievably difficult to work on your own. When I went and opened my restaurant down in George many, many years ago, somebody said to me, here's some advice for you. There is only one thing in the world worse than having a partner. That's not having a partner. Because you will be lonely and you won't know who to bounce the ideas off. It's so hard as small business owners to stay motivated, to pick ourselves up when things aren't going well. That's probably the hardest thing at all. I'm hoping in some way that visiting here today will spark something in you. It doesn't have to be all 12 steps. It might just be one or two things. You're going to go back to your business and you're going to do them differently. So in order to stay motivated, what I want you to do is to write up a plan. Now is when we're going to write the plan. Afterwards, while we've got everything down, we're going to take a real-world action. We're going to put action steps to everything that we've done, and we're going to start doing them immediately. Now it's time we're going to write that vision action plan. Here's what you do. Step number 1, give yourself a title. Action plan, changed. Come up with some fancy name that you, Operation Sail the Mediterranean. I don't care what you call it, something that's going to motivate you. Step number 2, write down and define every single step and goal that your business has at the moment. You must have them. You must know what they are. I want more customers. I want more profit. I want the same customers to come back. I need to start a new business. When I do, this is what's going to happen. Whatever it is, write it down, define it. Then enter specific actions for each one of those steps. Write them down. If I want customers to come back to my business, I better start treating them better than I have been. I better offer them something. I better offer them some comeback, some kind of reward. Put a loyalty program in place. I don't have all the solutions for your business, but they're out there, and you probably know what they are. And then very important, the one I hate most of all, put a start date and an end date next to each one. And then finally, list the expenditures, list the points you need. All this is what it's going to take to make your business grow. Those are the 12 steps. You can use all of them. You can use some of them. Start at the beginning. Put everything you want up there. But you can make your business grow. That's how easy it is. It's all sitting in your hands. And finally, success in small business is not determined by the chosen few, but by the few who have chosen. You have to decide, and then you have to take action. You cannot be the frog that decides that he wants to jump off the rock. Today, you actually have to jump off the rock, get in the water, get wet, and move from there. Folks, in a nutshell, that is it. That's the plan. That's what you're going to do. That's how you're going to change your business.